Laid back and kicking it, let's head back to the studio. Here's Rod.
Welcome back, everybody. Well, it's our distinct pleasure to chat a little hockey on the RP Show today on this Tuesday edition. Couple of NHLers joining us, two proud Sasky boys who are joining us from Calgary here this morning. Cale Fleury of the Montreal Canadiens, he's in the bottom screen. Haydn Fleury of the Carolina Hurricanes, he's in the top screen. And they're residing in Cowtown right now where the mask mandate is on, but they're home safe and sound. And I'll start with you, Haydn. We'll just kind of pinball back and forth here. I'll get into the NHL bubble questions and all the rest. I just want to ask you, how's life been in Cowtown since you got out of the bubble and got back to normal? As normal as life is right now?
Yeah, if you could call that normal. I mean, the bubble seems like it was one thing, but you get out and, masks everywhere and all that kind of stuff. So I guess this is the new normal for now. So as long as the golf courses are open, I'm happy.
Yeah, no, and there's some beautiful ones out there. Cale, let me ask you, same story, of course, but it's a far cry from Carlisle. You guys said that you were both back there a couple weeks ago. We've lost Haydn, but no, the lights came out. There he is. Now he's back. Cale, you were back home in Carlisle. What's life like in Carlisle in the pandemic versus Calgary?
It's definitely a little bit more relaxed in Carlisle. I think maybe just less population there. So Calgary is kind of masked everywhere, and Carlisle, there wasn't really a mask scene.
I got to ask you
except
something.
for where we were at the rink. We were at the rink doing an autograph session.
Oh, good.
And
Sorry.
There were rinks in there. That's the only time.
Cut out a little bit there. For me, my dad worked for the Dallas Stars for, I think it was 26 years. Brendan Morrow was the most famous guy to come out of Carlisle. And you guys are not making Carlisle forget about Brendan, but did you guys know him growing up? From what I understand, he kind of grew up in Carlisle, left, and hadn't been back a whole lot. I'll start with you, Cale. Do you know Brendan at all? What's his legacy in Carlisle?
I obviously knew about him growing up, but I was really young when we first lived in Carlisle. So Haydn would actually be a better guy to ask this, but he actually was our babysitter when we were younger. I can't remember anything of it, but yeah.
Hayden, what do you remember about Brendan Morrow then?
Yeah, he dated our cousin for a while, and I was young, so I don't remember a ton about him. But my rookie season with the Canes, I got to I went to the rink, and the guys told me that I'm going to be doing the ceremonial puck drop, and he was dropping the puck. So I got to go out there with him dropping it and Jamie Benn on the other side. It was pretty cool.
That's amazing. Do you have a picture of that?
I do, yeah. I got one saved on my phone. Wow,
that is. I'm glad I asked. Now, I'll start with you, Haydn, then we'll go to Cale. Carolina's playoff story. You swept the Rangers, which statistically the NHL's not counting because it wasn't a best of 7, but still a big deal. And then you lined up about Boston. Just take me through the whole Toronto bubble experience and the Canes playoffs.
You know what? It was a positive experience. Obviously, not the result we wanted. Everyone kind of had written us off a little bit against the Rangers. They'd beaten us all 4 games in the regular season, but we hadn't kind of played them since the trades we made. So, I think we played the hockey that we wanted to. I think we dominated that series, and then, going against Boston, I think it was a lot closer than a 4-1 series. I mean, we had the blow up in the third period, and even the final game, they get 2 power play goals, and we can't go and buy them. So that was I think it was a lot closer, but I think our team's just getting better, and I think we're only going to move forward from here.
It's very exciting for the future for Carolina, and I think it is for Montreal too, Cale. I gotta say, we had Mark Recchi on, Penguins assistant coach, before the playoffs, and he was nervous about you guys. And as it turns out, he had reason to be. And I got a lot of friends in Montreal, man. They thought you guys were going all the way. Obviously, you did too. I mean, you were there. You got a chance, right? What do you recall about the Stanley Cup playoffs for Montreal?
I think just our team went in with the mindset that anything can really happen, especially with the break that we had. And we had a pretty strong belief in the group of guys we had in the room. Obviously, with our backbone of Carey and net, if he gets hot, really, he can beat any team in the league.
Back up to you, Haydn. So you guys were in the bubble together. We heard a little bit, like Ryan Murray joined us from his hotel room a couple of times. We had some players from the bubble. What was it like living in there, and did you bump into your little brother? Did you try to bump into your brother at any points? What was it like being sequestered away in downtown Toronto like that?
After the first 5 days, I think we saw each other a lot more. We went out for dinner a couple times, and then he seemed to always be at the golf simulator. So whenever I was trying to get on the golf simulator, he was using it. So he's taking my time away from that. But no, he seen him as much as I can, and the bubble was. I was really thankful we had such a close team with Carolina. We did have a lot of fun inside the bubble, which made it a lot more enjoyable. And it was just, making the best of the situation.
Before we go to you, Cale, Haydn, what is your best score on the White Bear golf course? A Saskatchewan treasure, by the way. What's the best score you've carded there?
I think I shot 79 there when we went back this year, and that course does not suit my game at all. I do not like how tight that is. It's one of the hardest golf courses I've ever played for being how short it is.
What about Kenosee then?
Kenosee, I played better. I was, I think, 76 there.
How about you, Cale? Obviously, if you were hogging the golf simulator and wouldn't let your brother on it, you're serious about it too. What are your best scores on those two tracks?
I actually can't remember. I think on White Bear, it might have been low 80s. I think I was low 80s, like 81, 82 on White Bear. I don't have the privilege like Haydn where you can golf all year round in Carolina. So there's no winter golf in Montreal. That's my excuse.
Fair enough. I got to ask you this, just on the Tampa Bay Dallas series. I'll ask you both, and I'll start with you, Cale. Could you imagine going this far? Obviously, you did imagine it because you wanted to win the Stanley Cup. But what are those players going through right now? I mean, you're watching the games. It seems like kind of a war of attrition to me. Your thoughts on going this far? And maybe do you have a prediction on how it's going to end?
I think it would be a grind just mentally being in the bubble for that long. Even just for the month or whatever we were there, it was kind of wearing down on some of the guys, just kind of the same routine every day. But I think when you have something that's motivating you that hard, like the Stanley Cup, obviously you're not going to be worried about that too much. And I think for a prediction, I like Tampa. It's a really skilled team. And my brother's buddy, Braden Point, is obviously a great player too, so we're kind of rooting for him.
Haydn, your thoughts on the Stanley Cup Final and going all the way?
Yeah, I think you got to, find a way to block out, a lot of things going on in your life in order to focus on, winning the ultimate prize in hockey. And, for the two teams that are there, I mean, Dallas has gone up against and been the underdogs in two series, probably 3 series in a row now. People were writing them off and they kept grinding. And, I think that's kind of, the emphasis that you got to put on just grinding every day and, doing it for your teammates and for your brothers. But no, I'm going to agree with Cale. I think, I'm cheering for Pointer and, Tampa Bay.
I'm going to stay on you, Haydn. You've both brought up the mental aspect of this. There's been very little coverage of what the teams are doing other than like the Vegas Golden Knights put up photos of their movie nights or whatever. Did either one of your teams bring in a mental coach? Or does your team have one? I mean, how much was spent on the mental versus the physical? I'll start with you, Haydn.
We had done stuff before we went into the bubble, but once we got into the bubble, the NHLPA had a guy that was reaching out to players if they needed it to talk to you and if you needed it. And then, I think that was it. But, I mean, guys were talking amongst themselves on the team, and we have a very close group in Carolina that way. So, if a guy needed to talk, there was 20 guys willing to listen.
How about you, Cale? Did Montreal do anything in that regard?
Kind of just the same thing as Carolina. Just you'd get the contact from the guy from the NHLPA if you needed it. And obviously, we know as a team we can talk to each other and even the staff as well if anything's going wrong like that, if you need any help or extra motivation, I guess. But yeah, there was nothing, no guy brought in or anything like that.
producer Clark brought up the fact that you guys both played in Memorial Cups as host teams, and I'm going to get to that in a second. Red Deer for Haydn and Regina for Cale, but I had the pleasure of watching you both as juniors, and the one thing that stands up to me is the unbelievable smooth skaters that you guys are, particularly Haydn. You're no slouch yourself, Cale. Who do you guys credit for your skating ability? Because it's off the charts. Like even in junior, you were skating like pros, Haydn, and you obviously heard that. What do you attribute that to?
I think training was I was always a good skater. I think I started training with a good trainer named Tommy Powers when I was 16, and I think the off ice work really led on the ice, and that's kind of where it started, and now it's kind of just something that I've been able to run with and have as a strength of my game, and I think Tommy's a big part of that.
How about you, Cale? Did you follow that exact same path, or what's your story? What do you attribute getting to the show as?
Oh yeah, kind of same thing. For as long as I can remember, I've been training in the off seasons. I think started when I was like 12 years old. Obviously being pretty serious at that young age, watching what my brother was going through as he was just about to make his entry into the WHL. I actually worked with Leanne Davies in Regina for a couple summers when I was younger as well, just power skating with her. And I actually skated with Jordan Wheel in that group when I don't even know how old I would have been, but he was already in LA system, and I thought that was pretty cool.
It's very cool. And by the way, I always call him Gordon Wheel because when he was a rookie in Calgary one night in the saddle and they were announcing him, Pat's goal scored by Gordon Wheel. So I called him Gordon his whole career. He actually smiles. He doesn't get mad. I saw something on Twitter the other day. Yeah, you call him Gordon next time you see him. Somebody said the Habs can't let Jordan Wheel get away. Is he a pending free agent? What does Wheeler mean to Montreal's future?
Wheeler's just the last guy off the ice every day at practice. Obviously, with the exception of the rookies picking up pucks. He's always just out there getting better. He's a great skater. He's a skill guy. He can put up points in the power play. He's just an extremely hard worker and a good guy. Can't really say enough good things about him.
Yeah, he is awesome. Super intense, I'll tell you this. I mean, as you know, you play with him, but I called him like a mini Jordan Eberle. Difference was Ebbs is always smiling and Wheeler's never smiling. He's just so intense all the time. For the Dub fans, Haydn, what do you recall about that Memorial Cup in Red Deer and hosting? I got to think that's a career highlight for you.
Yeah. We actually played the Pats that year in the second round, and that went to 7 games, kind of at the start of, the run they made in the Dub for like 4 years, and then we ended up losing to Brandon. But, after that 2 weeks of Brent Sutter practices, and you can imagine how those were, we went up against Marnes and the London Knights, and we lost like 6-2 or something. And it was just like, oh God, is this what we're in for 2 weeks? But I think, that was kind of gave us a little kick in the butt. And after that, we actually played really good hockey for the rest of it. And, we came up against a hot goalie in the semifinals in the Quebec team. But, the city of Red Deer was buzzing the whole year. It was, right into our playoffs. It was awesome. And then coming out the first night of the Memorial Cup, sold out rink, it was so loud. It was a blast.
Red Deer's a special place, and man, are they missing WHL hockey right now. I mean, we all are, but I mean, Red Deer, shoot, they're like, what else is there to do? Regina, Cale, I was there for the first 2 games, and then I had to go away to Rough Rider camp, and it killed me because the Pats are my team. You made it all the way to the final and shut out by the Quebec team. What was a heck of a week, though? I mean, talk to me about what you remember from the 2018 Memorial Cup.
Yeah, I think we just kind of went in there with low expectations on us. We got eliminated in the first round, up against a pretty stacked Swift Current team who ended up winning it. So we took them to Game 7, I believe. And then we had a full month of just 2-a-day workouts and skating and just a grind. We were just doing everything we could to get better during that time and stay in shape. And then I think it paid off at the end. And we were pretty good in the Mem Cup. Obviously making the finals, but then kind of the same situation as Haydn, just ran into a really hot goalie.
Yeah, it was a tough time. interesting, by the way, it was Acadie Bathurst, right, who ended up finishing dead last the next year. But that's junior hockey. That's hockey. I'll just ask you this, guys, as we wrap it up. Haydn, what's next for you guys? You see the commissioner saying that there's going to be a season, but they don't know when. How do you train for that? How do you live your life? Do you have any inside info for next season? Like, what are you looking at right now?
I was hoping you had inside info for us.
Sorry.
You seem to be the guy. No, I'm going to go back to North Carolina here in the coming month and start working with our team's skills coach and strength coach, and, just get ready and get sharp. And, when the season does happen, just be ready and just, enjoy the city down there in Raleigh. It's a great place to live. It's a really special place to play. And, I'm just kind of waiting and seeing, just like everyone else.
Hey, if you run into or heard of any Hurricanes fans here in Sasky, by the way, I know one. Have any reached out to you, or do you know of any?
There was a guy in Swift Current. I forget his name. He would tweet at me sometimes. I think it was something Cote. His last name was Cote. He would always come to games and stuff. So he's a Canes fan, but I always joke that the Canes jerseys are sold out all over Canada. So that's where they are.
It's our secret. The guy I know is in Estevan, so there are two. But you guys go deep, and there'll be a lot more. Cale, no doubt you know how many Habs fans there are here in Saskatchewan. I don't even need to ask you that question. What's your outlook? Same as your brothers, I guess?
Yeah, I'm going to be staying in Calgary for the most part. I do have the option to go to Montreal as well. Just whenever we find out when camp is, I'll probably end up going about a month early, just to kind of ramp up the intensity a little bit, just to try to get as ready for the season as possible. But yeah, for the most part, just staying in Calgary.
Before I let you go, producer Clark has just said in my ear, can you ask Cale what Shea Weber has meant to his development? And if anyone has meant a lot to Haydn. So current NHLers, we'll start with you, Cale. The question was Shea Weber. Who in the NHL has helped you out the most?
Shea Weber is just an incredible defenseman, doing what he is, doing at his age right now, and still like one of the top defensemen in the league. Obviously, he's got his cannon of a shot that I get to see in practice every day. Sometimes I'm killing penalties in practice, kind of just got to get out of the way and let the goalie see it. Yeah, I think just watching him, even just off the ice too, he's just a machine in the gym. He's always top fitness testing, and he's just a really good role model to look up to. He's a great guy.
How about you, Haydn? Who showed you the ropes the most in the NHL?
I would say Justin Williams, probably. We've become really close off the ice. We're both belong to the same golf course, so there's been a lot of moments there. But at the rink, he's always on me. He's always telling me, "Let's go, let's do this, let's do that." So he's been a big influence to me in my career, and I'm very grateful for the friendship that we have, and I'm just wishing him all the best.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys, what you're doing's working. So I appreciate the time today. You guys are both so much fun to watch. You've been following your careers closely. So proud of you very much. For all of us from Saskatchewan, keep it rolling, stay safe, and hope to see you on the ice soon.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Carlisle's Haydn and Cale Fleury joining us from Calgary here this morning. We're going to take a time out and be right back with a sports update. You're watching the RP Show across North America on Game Plus TV, Facebook Live, and listen live at rodpedersen.com.
You're watching Rod Pedersen on demand. For more of the Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.